So it'll be like old hat to you. Ask for community involvement, and the first thing is, for those of you that have never heard this talk, there's going to be music. Oh, it's hard to do when you're standing. You can do it. We're going to get wondering what we're doing in here. Anybody know who this is? That's the warm-up. Are you ready? I know it's a Sunday afternoon. It'd be a lot more fun on a Friday night, but we got a Sunday afternoon to work with, so here we go. So I made a forecast, even though this isn't a weather talk. So based on that intro, I'm hoping there's a 0% chance that you all are going to spend this whole talk sitting in your chairs. We've got 30 minutes together, and we're going to have some fun with it. I'm hoping there's a chance that something I say will be useful to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have traveled here on Saturday to spend my Sunday with you. I'm up here, and I guarantee you that I'm going to be asking you to push your boundaries a little bit and do some things you've probably never been asked to do or won't be asked to do again at a weather conference. So don't hang me out to dry, okay? I guarantee you I'll do my best to look the silliest in the room. So whatever you're doing, they'll be looking at me, so don't worry about it. Have fun. So this is my outline, or my roadmap for the talk. I'm just going to explain to you what I'm going to do during this talk. Then we're going to have an extended period of Get Up Off of That Thing, which was the name of that song you just heard the intro to. I have a few miscellaneous thoughts at the end, gathered through my 26 years of working in this field so far, and then we're going to have a big finish. So what kind of talk is this? I don't pretend to have all the answers. I've just been living my own little life over here. Some things have worked out for me well along the way. I've observed what's worked out well for some other people. And I thought I would share that in this student session where we're going to be talking about all kinds of advice for how to get you up and going in your careers. So that's, this is just my take on things, and I hope something else might be useful. Standing with 20 years from now, 40 years from now, and with any luck, you'll remember this day and say, I think we first met at that student conference in Birmingham. Do you remember that? That crazy lady's talk, and we were there, and it's like, yeah, totally. So, all right, you can go back to your seats now, but remember your new contact. Volunteering. Don't do this because it exhausts you and makes you tired to have one more thing to do on your list. Do it because when you volunteer, when you get involved, you actually get more back. It's going to fill you up. Instead of being more tired, you'll probably be more tired when you start and energized when you get to the end because it was fulfilling and you feel good about it. Take care of yourself. Again, time's precious. We're all really busy. But if you do things for yourself, yeah, it makes you busier, but it's going to make you happy too. And it's going to help keep you balanced. So this has been what life has shown me thus far. People tell me I look pretty happy. I do feel pretty happy. I'm happily employed. So something's working. So I'd like everybody to stand up and do some balancing. But I need some extra special balancers. Do we have anybody that can walk on their hands? Do we have anybody that can moonwalk? No. Anybody that can walk on their hands? Gymnasts? Do we have any people that do ballet that can do a special arabesque for us? Oh man, really? No, I've given this talk multiple times. I've never had no one that can do balance. All right, well then we're just going to have to get up and stand on one foot. Everybody get up and stand on one foot. Go for some kind of ballet. I'm a reformed perfectionist. Are there any other perfectionists in the room? Some. All right, well I just want to make your life easier. I wish I had learned so much earlier to just take the edge off and stop being a perfectionist. I would have reduced the stress up until I was about 30 to an immense degree. Mistakes are lifelong learning, and perfection is not attainable. And if you keep trying to attain it, you will stress yourself out in the worst way. Just accept that perfection isn't necessarily the goal. The funny thing about being a perfectionist is that because you are a perfectionist, you can't perceive that anything other than perfection is acceptable. If you're not a perfectionist, you don't even think that's necessarily where you need to be headed. But when you are, you really do think that's the only place to go. And so a quote that I turn to all the time so that I keep my reformed perfectionism state in mind is, we are all part of an imperfect human enterprise. It is so true. I have a staff that works for me, and sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes they even disappoint me. And rather than going to that critical place, rather than jumping on them, this is the first quote I think of, and I forgive them their humanity, and we talk about what went wrong. How come this didn't work out? And I go right to here. So if you have others in your life that disappoint you, remember that they're just busy being human, and they weren't going to be perfect, so you might as well just accept that and try to work on from wherever your starting place is. I like this cartoon a lot. Nice and simple, and having lived there in an early part of my life, I was sure there was 25 hours and I was going to use them all. Now I'm down to getting the best out of my 24. So Homestar Runner fans in the crowd? Any Homestar Runner? 1, 2. If you haven't checked out Homestar Runner comics on the web, check it out. Funny, funny stuff. This little guy up in the corner is called Cheap. He's one of the characters. These are the messages that I hope I've left you with today. Interact with others. You met a new person today. Keep doing that all week. Do one more thing. Do something for yourself. Do something for others. Volunteer. Get involved. Communicate. Ask for what you need. And we didn't have time today, but the other part of that is be a good listener. Amazing what you'll pick up on if you're listening. Change your perspective. Remember, you're only looking at things from your perspective. Accept imperfections in yourself and others. And in closing, this subject that we are here to talk about all week is fun. Have a great week. Learn a lot. Meet some of these people, these names in the field that you're excited to meet. And remember that what we do is important. Society is facing a ton of issues that our weather and our knowledge of the geophysical system are relevant. They matter. It will be as important as ever. The more and more dependent on technology, limited water supplies, all these things are going to make what we know important. And society's depending on us. So get out there and make a difference. We are a small field, so you're going to run into the same people. In fact, I have to tell you my kegger story. If you've come by the comment booth, Greg Bird is my peer working at the booth right now. I first met Greg when he was a student working on his PhD and I was a master's student. We were both at NCAR for the summer. And I was having a party with my boyfriend and I invited him to my kegger. I said, hey, you're in town, you want to come to our kegger? He said, sure. So he came over, we had beers together all night. 15 years later, he was my boss. I don't remember what I did at that kegger, but apparently it wasn't anything too damaging. But it's the truth. It's a small field. If you were a programmer, there's no chance that would happen if you were a programmer. But in our field, you're going to run into the same faces. So we're at the big finish. Need everybody to stand up. I hear some more clapping. All right. Oh, that's so disappointing. All right, well, we'll do it on break. That was supposed to be the big one. All right, we're at the forecast validations. How did we do? You didn't spend your whole time in your chair. I didn't see a single person sitting the whole time, so that's awesome. You'll have to let me know a couple years from now whether anything was helpful to you when we run into each other at another conference. You did a great job of making me feel like you were engaged and listening, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I'm sure that the last one verified. So thank you. Listen to these other presenters. They all have great messages for you today, too. You're doing all the right things by being at this conference. And I'm here all week. Really, I'm here through Friday. So we can visit in the halls and chat more. And I want to thank you.